Okay, Roger.
So you can see my screen now, right?
Are you intending to place?
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Say that again. Can you hear me? Jeez. This should be able to work. Looks like. Yeah, if you can hear me, raise your hand. Well, there's actually a little thing on here to raise your hand, I think. I don't see it there. Usually in the attendees. So let's check it again. You can hear me,
What's
Mark?
this? Chat.
Can you hear me, Mark? And then, Dad, you can hear me, right? Ah. All right, can you hear me, Thad?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a bit of a delay. I don't think Mark is getting us. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yes, yes, I can hear both of you.
Okay, it's a little bit of a delay. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And like I said, if it becomes an issue, type something in the chat. You guys see where the chat is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what I want to do tonight, and since we're having a tough connection, I think I'm going to try to keep it real short, is just review what's going on. We didn't have class week 7. I apologize for that. I thought that we were having class. Drove over there. I had gotten the memo that said that we were, and then that we weren't, and it was a communication problem. But I don't think too many people showed up, so I guess we're going to be okay with that. I want to make sure I'm recording this too. So yep, okay. So if it ends up not being that you can't understand it or whatever, the recording should be okay, and I'll post the recording probably tomorrow if I can. I'm in a limited access internet situation, but it should be okay. So we're coming.
Roger.
Say that again.
Good.
All right, all right. So we're coming to the end of the class. We've got this video that everybody should watch. I'm certainly not going to try to play that. Participate in the week 8 discussions, and then complete and submit your final project. And here's some resources. We've talked about these all semester on the Purdue website for helping you with your APA um, references and in-text citations. So make sure that you take a look at those, and everybody has the opportunity to improve on that. So I don't think there's anybody who's perfect. There's a few people who are pretty good, and I think most of you guys on the call are pretty good, but still, it's worth taking a look at. So, the discussions, I'll let you guys look at yourself. But then, we've been talking about change management this whole class, and really organizational culture, and now we're talking about how to manage change in an organization. So what we want you to do, and this is something, the great thing about this assignment, I think, is it's something that you should want to do because it's going to give you an opportunity to create something that you might be able to use in a job application. So what you have to do is put yourself in the position of a consultant making recommendations to the CEO of an organization and put together a PowerPoint presentation, 10 to 15 slides, state how your organization must be prepared to meet the needs and challenges of the future, defend your argument. So you're going to be pulling together everything that we've talked about for the semester into this presentation. So you should include in your slides, and how many slides you create of each is really up to you, but an evaluation of the current situation, an analysis of how the culture should change in order to better address the needs of the future. So, and here you want to make specific recommendations. You just don't want to say a few things. That's often the one of the bad things that consultants do is they give people recommendations that are really very difficult to implement. So you want to give people things that they can do and be specific. Recommendation for change with specific strategies that need to be adopted by leadership, including how to communicate the changes and how to respond to resistance to change. Basically, the whole part of the week 7, what you did and what you read was about responding to resistance to change. So and keep your recommendations to 2 or 3, so that you should have 2 or 3 that are specific as to why you feel that they're important, and then what they need to do to communicate those changes and respond to the resistance to change. So that's pretty specific. Justification and support for the recommended changes based on both your own observations and the literature. And you need at least 3 sources for that. And this assignment is 20% of your grade. So this is, what everybody should be working on now. You want to make sure that when you do your slides, if you're going to make points in a slide, you should include a citation for that as well. So, when you get into 3 and 4 here, especially when you're making your recommendation, you need to have specific strategies which need to be adopted by leadership. And then you want to make sure that you have justification and support for the recommended changes based on your observation and the literature. So that's where the sources should come in. And if you're going to put together 2 or 3 recommendations, each one of those recommendations should have their own outside support from an academic source. So I think that it's important that you remember that, and that's what's going to make you successful on this. Let's go. We're going to go and actually look at the rubric here, because I think that's the best way to do it. let's see, what's the best way to do this? It's not going to have it either. Just a minute, and I'll figure this out. That's the same thing. Wait a minute. Here we go. All right, so here's the rubric. So actually, let me go into this and final project part 2, change management plan. And I haven't mentioned here, but this follows up on the assignment that you just turned in. And I graded most of those. There are a few that were late that haven't gotten graded yet, and I'll try to get those in the next couple of days. But so here you go. So, what you're looking for, obviously, no recommendations would be 0 points, but for 4 points, which the most recommendation for change clearly demonstrate an innovative and direct alignment to business objectives in the organization and the changing or issues existing. So focus on what you talked about in the last paper. Recommendations for support are supported by literature and original data. So that means that somewhere in your recommendations, you cite an outside academic source as one of the justifications for you making this recommendation. So rationale and justification. So and to get the highest score on that, rationale and justification are convincing and thorough. Needed action and strategies required of leadership are comprehensive and adequate for change. So within, if you've picked 2 or 3 things that need to be changed within the organization, that you've got to have some rationale and justification for why you picked those. And there would have to be something in an outside academic source that you could rely on. That, this academic source states that when you make changes, this is one of the best strategies for leadership to take. So that's great justification if you can get that in your source. And that's really what you're looking for there. So the paper demonstrates a clear understanding of resistance to change and ideas on how to address this based on the literature. Okay, so again, that you've got to understand how resistance to change can occur and how to combat it based on the literature that you have. So you got to have at least 3 appropriate sources that are used to support the need and the plan for change. So that's really important. That's what I'm talking about here. Those sources just shouldn't be something that you read and you didn't use in your paper. They should be something that provides the main justification for what you are doing. So, and then you have, APA format, grammar, that type of thing. Does anybody have any questions on the assignment?
Okay, just to be clear, you're saying to use the references that we already use in our paper, correct?
You can, certainly. Whatever you're going to say that's going to support the position that you take.
Roger that.
Okay, so if you used them in your last paper and you think that they would be appropriate again, that's fine. I always recommend that you use sources that we've provided already. We had in week 7, there was a great academic paper. I was going to do it for you guys, but I'll spare you that. But rethinking resistance and recognizing ambivalence. This is a great paper again because it's a good paper about the attitudes towards organizational change, and then it's a good academic paper where you can see how a person in the academic world did research on other people's research on organizational change, and then compiled this paper that talks about all the different ones. So this is a great one to use. I would encourage you to think about that one. Guys know what I'm talking about?
Uh, yeah, and you said
Yes,
it's available in there, right? Correct?
I'm sorry, say that again, Thad?
It's under week 7.
Right. Yep. So, and you guys, let's make sure you still have access to that. I'll make sure that's open. I'll change that right now. So you'll have access to that paper as well. Okay?
Thank you.
Sure thing. Sure thing. I'm not going to, I could go through this exciting PowerPoint of 28 slides that you would have seen on July 3rd, but I'll post it in the week 7 if you want to look at it. So, you can do that as well. But that's a great source to use for this paper. It should be, between this and the reading that we've had in other places, they're always good sources. We've already gone through those and decided that that's something you should use. So I guess that's that's probably the main thing for me. I went through. You want to watch this video? This is a good video to watch, and then do the discussion questions. And 1 to 3 paragraphs summarize what you learned about culture and change in this course. Use at least 3 citations. So you want to use some of those things like that paper that I showed you. At the end of your paragraphs, list your references, respond to 2 colleagues. So that should be it. So, you guys have any questions for me?
I'm good.
no, not about the assignment. I did want to make sure though, because the stuff was locked. I sent you an email to make sure that you received my email about me being out of town and my last assignment, and just to make sure that everything went through to you.
So yeah, let me take a look at that real quick here.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to check that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I haven't graded everything.
Okay.
But let me just Mark, yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
That's the one you were talking about?
The last assignment, correct.
Yep, okay. Yep,
Yes, that one.
I just haven't graded it yet. So
okay.
I'll
now that was the one I sent the email about, saying that I was going to take advantage of the extra days.
Yeah, no problem. Yep, no problem.
Because I was out of town.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking any points off on anybody on this assignment because there was some confusion on the dates. So, all right. So you guys are, if you have any other grade questions, please email me individually, and I will, I'll address those because I gotta have in grades by like 10 o'clock on Wednesday night after the assignments are after we're done on Sunday night. So that needs, I'll need to grade everything pretty quickly.
Roger that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed having both y'all in my class here, and I'm sorry we missed the last week, but I hope that you felt like you learned something and it was worth your time.
It
So,
was definitely good class.
all right, thank you. Well, you guys have a great week. And if you have any questions, I'll check my email regularly because I know it's the end, and hopefully I can take care of them for you.
Hey, one quick question. You said we'll be able to find this session that we have right here. Where would I find it at?
I'll put it in the news right on the first page when you sign in.
Okay, roger that.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't get it up tonight, it'll be first thing in the morning. Takes a while after you get done for it to, convert the file and do some other things.
Okay,
All right,
roger that.
all righty. You guys have a great night.
Now,
All right.
you
All
too.
right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well,
Bye.